Did you know that EA made £1.6 billion from game sales from April 2020 to March 2021? And 29% of that sum is from its Ultimate Team modes. You're listening to the Xbox Hub Podcast, the official podcast of the TheXboxHub.com. For the latest Xbox news, reviews, videos, and opinions, make sure you visit the TheXboxHub.com. But for now, settle down, get comfy, and open your ears for some podcast delights. Hello and welcome to the Xbox Hub Official Podcast, episode number 90. My name's Gareth Bridie. I'm your host, and on my virtual left is Mr. James Burks. How you doing, James?
Hello there. I'm not too well, thank you.
Good.
How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. And on my virtual right is Mr. Paul. Paul, I forgot your surname.
Renshaw.
I knew it was. You know in your head there was like the 8 possibilities flashed. It was like different timelines where I could have gone. And
I'm trying to get to myself to be famous enough to just go by my first name anyway. You know, like Prince and Madonna and stuff.
In front of me as well, which is even worse.
I don't think anyone would noticed when you paused.
Professional, though, that's what I've always said.
I like it.
If we're going to do a podcast, we'll do it properly.
This is a good start, isn't it?
This is our best host.
I presume there was some kind of audition for host, wasn't there?
I'm doing the Olympic ceremony next week. Yes. So we had a week off. This is what happens when you have a week off. We had a week off last week, so we're back. And we're in episode 90. We're getting near that 100, aren't we? 10 weeks?
I never thought we'd make it.
I never thought we'd make it. Wow.
I thought 10 would be a push.
I know.
90, wow.
I know.
Imagine getting to 100 listeners. Good grief.
That'd be good.
Well, at the same time? Or cumulative?
Just, over the 100 episodes.
I think we can do it.
Now, gentlemen, what have you been doing this week? Paul, what have you been doing?
What have I been doing? I have been working, not feeling the heat. I've not been enjoying that very much at all. In fact, I've invested in one of those fancy fans that you can put ice packs and stuff in, and it blows cold air. So it's like poor man's air conditioning.
Right.
And in other news, I also bought the cats a special mat that they can lie on to cool them down. And that lasted 10 minutes before I was elbowing out the way and lying on it myself. So, yeah. Other than struggling with the heat and doing the works, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
I don't lead an exciting life.
For listeners out of England, it's been a heat wave here. Mad times. But it's finished now, isn't it? It's back to normal.
Well, it's still 20 odd degrees, which is about 10 degrees too much for me. But yeah, it's better.
Better.
It'll be snowing next week.
Yeah, especially where you are.
On the other side of the wall.
James, what about you? What have you been doing?
Well, today I got wrapped up in Olympic fever. Since the Tokyo 2020 opening ceremony was on for, 4 hours? It was underwhelming.
Right.
I don't know if either you two call it, but let's just say it wasn't very creative.
Right.
For the most part. I think obviously because of COVID, there wasn't much going on. But yeah, it was exciting to see all the different countries coming out, and then more countries came out, and then a few more.
Yeah.
Until they were all out, I imagine.
Exactly. And they got a bit better because they did this thing where people were recreating the Olympic badges, like the swimming pictogram and the racing pictogram.
Right.
That was the highlight.
That was good.
As you can tell, it was quite...
I thought you said for a moment badges. I thought you said they're recreating Olympic badges. I thought that'd be great.
There was badges everywhere. The thing that I was listening to it about, I was listening about it on the radio on the way home in the car.
Yeah.
And they said that as the teams came out, they came out to orchestral versions of video game music.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
Which
Yeah.
I thought was quite cool. I mean,
Yeah.
they didn't play any examples because obviously I listen to Radio 4 and we don't do music on Radio 4, darling.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was quite a clever way, a little nod to one of Japan's sort of biggest industries, I imagine.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Great.
there
What's
you
even
go.
worse is that I didn't even notice.
You were looking for the badges. So when are the badges on?
Still waiting.
Still waiting. Yeah. I haven't done anything at all. Again, I've worked this week. I've been carless, and I've sold my car last weekend. I went for a new car, and I really miss having a car, which is quite sad, really. How much I need a car. I live in London. That's mad.
Can we ask what you're having? Is it a blue one?
I'm getting a blue car. I'm getting an electric car on Monday. Come on Monday. Yeah, so that's quite fun.
Is it a Tesla?
No, it's Neil from the TheXboxHub. It's his car. I said, Neil, what car have you got? And I'm having that one.
It's his car.
Yeah.
Does he know?
Yeah, he doesn't know that yet. Got some boys coming around to nick it.
I could just imagine it. Yeah, Gemma, where's the car? No.
But let's move on, because we're doing this on a Friday today because we thought we've got EA Play, and it's on Thursday. It's going to be a huge amount of things to talk about, and there's quite a few things. But first of all, before we start, were you impressed by this, James?
In terms of you being very impressed, I tell you what I was impressed by.
Yeah.
The hosting.
I was going to say, was it because there was a wrestler on there? You were very excited.
And it was very natural. Because I know for a fact he knows his gaming. And you could tell. And that really helped, I think. So, what little there was to see. I thought he did a terrific job. Austin Creed. But yeah, on the whole, mediocre. Sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard now, isn't it? Because I think we're getting to a point when these shows, I quite like these little sort of shows now. These half-an-hour things, getting done, there's a few games, and then you do them every few months or so. I think that's kind of okay, really. So we kind of knew everything in there. Maybe one surprise.
One or two little things.
Yeah, but it was nothing, you knew beforehand that, we know we're going to talk about FIFA in a minute, but we knew FIFA had its own thing. We knew Skate wasn't going to be there. And they did a sort of like a little video showing them working, saying, look, we are working. And Dragon Age wasn't going to be there. So we knew what wasn't going to be there. So, yeah, but it's okay. What about you, Paul? What do you think overall?
Overall, I thought it was okay. Again, I've got to agree with James about the hosting. I was catching up on watching it at lunchtime today, and the warehouse manager popped into my office, and he's a massive wrestling fan. And he was like, oh, yeah, that's Austin, what's his face? And he's really big into gaming. He does it all on YouTube and stuff. And I was like, really? I've got no idea. He's just a man with massive biceps to me, But anyway, so yeah, I was very impressed with his hosting. He was, as James said, very natural and good. But the actual content, there wasn't a huge amount for me to go, yay, about.
Yeah.
The most exciting bit was seeing the maps from Bad Company 2 in that Battlefield reveal.
Which you love. Yeah.
I love Bad Company 2. It's the best game ever.
Let's talk. Let's go through. We've got an order here, so let's just talk with the big kind of reveal that we kind of knew was coming, which is the Dead Space remake.
Yes.
And we've got no date on this at all. Nothing. Didn't even say next year. But it's a thing, and there's a little kind of trailer was in there that had lovely lighting and it looked very nice. And what do we think?
Scary. I've just on the back of all the chat about it, I've actually downloaded all of the Dead Space games from EA Play, and I've just been playing through the first one. So yeah, seeing the uprated visuals and even though you only saw the necromorph silhouette, it's like, oh. So, yes, I'm quite pleased. I'm very excited about a remake.
Do we know? Is it Is it a complete remake like a Resident Evil 2 or a Shadow of Colossus type thing, or is it more like a little bit of a polish?
Well, I think as I understand it, and obviously details are very scarce, it's a remake of the first game. Now, whether they go down the route of like Resident Evil 2 and take the opportunity to improve a few things, I don't know, but it would be a bit of a missed opportunity if they didn't.
Yeah.
But I'm glad to see it going back to the first game, because I think they got progressively more sort of arcadey shooting until by the third one you might as well have been playing Gears of War. So yeah, I mean, I was a massive fan of Dead Space and Dead Space 2, particularly the drill bit. If you've played that game.
Now, I think I've only played, weird enough, Dead Space 2, and that's when the drill bit's there. So,
yeah, exactly.
And I love that. I love that game. And but for some reason, I didn't play the first. Weird. But yeah, so I'm really looking forward to it, because it's I get to play the first game.
Excellent, yep.
James is, of course, looking forward to it, aren't you, James?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Even more so when I heard it was by the Star Wars Squadrons developers. Another of my favourite games.
I can never tell if he's being sarcastic.
He's being sarcastic.
I'll just say, I think it will be very different than the original Dead Space, because it is a remake, not a remaster.
Yeah.
So I think there'll be a lot of improvements and differences. There is something for people to look forward to. And it's next gen. It didn't say Xbox One, PS4. It only is expected for Series X and PS5.
Yeah.
And PC, so at least it'll be top quality for whoever enjoys that kind of stuff.
You're a big fan of a scary game, aren't you, James?
Yeah, definitely. That's right up my alley. Game on download.
I like it when it's a remake, complete remake. I really like it when it's a different imagining. Like the Resident Evil games are really good at that. You know, they're doing their own thing, but they're using some of their stuff. I think when it's just a kind of remastered, I'm just getting really bored of remastered stuff. Yeah, and it's just like we just keep going back on ourselves, and
it's laziness.
Yeah, it's just money grabbing as well. But yeah, when they do something completely different with it, it's great. You know, it's really interesting.
It's lazy and money grabbing.
Absolutely.
What publisher is it? IGA.
No, yeah. So it's funny what you were saying about doing something new with it. I did hear a rumor that we were making it into a kart game. So, you know, like battling necromorphs driving around on go-karts.
I would like that. That's good. That's what I want.
That would be good.
Let's go to the next one. We don't know anything else about it. It's a very short kind of thing. We don't know what year. We had some Battlefield, and it's a portal mode. Is that right? Have I said that right?
Yeah. Battlefield Portal, I think it was.
What is this? Is this like a build your own thing? You know, have your own? Yeah.
It was an odd one again. I watched it and I thought this does have the potential to be really interesting. Basically, you can take any of the characters from Battlefield 1942, I think it was, Bad Company 2, Battlefield 3, and Battlefield 2042. So not only characters but vehicles as well. And then you can make your own game rules. So I think the one they showed was, you know, it was like team deathmatch, but you only had to kill one person. You had to kill like a VIP in order to win. But it was just bonkers. The trailer was, you know, somebody in a Spitfire chasing somebody in a F-22. I was just thinking the F-22 has not really got much to worry about there. I think he can fly quicker than the bullets from a Spitfire. But yeah, it was just... But seeing the maps from Bad Company 2, straight away I recognised Arica Harbour.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, we need this. You know, it's going to be great. It has a lot of potential.
You're looking forward to the Battlefield game, aren't you?
I really am. I'm a big Battlefield fan. I'd much rather play that than COD. And I think this year they've got a good chance of blowing COD out of the water, to be honest.
Oh, okay.
Controversial, I know, but...
I think their campaign, not having the campaign, it's going to... I don't know.
Yeah, lack of a campaign.
Yeah, it's a big thing, I think. And, you're going to lose people. You I think there's a lot of people who buy it, like myself, will buy it for the campaign and play a bit of multiplayer and then get rid of it.
You play the 10 hours.
Yeah.
You play the 3 hours and then go, no, there's nothing else here for me.
So I think you're going to lose. I don't know. Maybe not.
They did announce another thing, didn't they? Was it Havoc mode or something? They said there was like 3 legs of the thing. There was campaign. There was no campaign. There was multiplayer. There was something else, and then there was something else. And I've got a horrible feeling that one of those things is going to be a battle royale mode.
Right. Okay.
Which again is no sale. Thank you very much.
I thought that's what they were going to show. I thought when they were teasing what they were actually going to show for Battlefield, I thought it's battle royale. So I'm sure it'll come.
It probably will, but I hope it doesn't, because I'm not a fan of a battle royale game.
No. This Portal thing looks great fun for those that
have
a long-term enjoyment of the series.
Yeah,
exactly. I recognised quite a lot of the maps. I think there's 6. I remembered Caspian Border as a classic.
Yeah, Caspian Border looked awesome.
Yeah,
I recognise planes and I recognise people with guns. So that was good.
I mean, you've got to admit, Gareth.
Yeah.
If you were in a game of defibrillators versus knives, you'd quite enjoy it.
I forgot about that. I forgot about that. I was looking at this going, why are they got defibrillators? Okay, yeah.
Because it was the rules.
Yeah. That was awesome. A Saturday night.
Yeah. That is a Saturday night in London, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. God. Good. That's coming out in whenever, October, I think, or something like that, isn't it? This year? November? Sometime. It's this year.
Yeah, October.
October, yeah. 22nd or 26th or something. Grid Legends. This is good. Now, Paul can talk about all these things now because he's going to be stuck in a minute when we talk about FIFA. So, Paul, this is a good opportunity.
Yeah!
I can't remember. I thought Grid... When's the last Grid game that's come out?
There was Race. Wasn't Race Driver not very long ago?
Oh, right. Okay.
2 years?
Okay.
Yeah. It's been reviewed on the site fairly recently, I thought.
Right.
But, yeah, this new one, Legends, looks amazing. As soon as they showed the drift cars, I was like, yeah, that looks great, sold. But then it was the mix and match racing as well that looked really intriguing. So, like, do you remember in the trailer there was a truck wiping out a single seater?
Yes.
And it was like, this doesn't look very fair, but you know what? It looks like it'll be absolute carnage. Can you imagine that online? Good grief.
That's all I'll be doing. That is me.
Where's James? He's in that big truck in your rear view mirror. Yeah.
So you're excited about this?
I am excited. I think it looked very good. The graphics looked superb. All the different types of cars that you can have. And then, like you say, the mix and match racing. It looks like it'll be a lot of fun.
Good. James, what about you?
The racing will be fantastic. It's Grid. I've always enjoyed a bit of Grid. Just for the damage even. The damage is always really well done. Because you can have little bits of damage or massive damage. But it really, you can feel it when you're driving it. But I wasn't so sure about the cinematic story.
Oh, yeah! I just remember that.
Only because we've seen it in FIFA. And it either works or it's totally cringe. And it could be really cringe.
Do you know what it looked like on that? Really reminded me of Wing Commander. Do you remember that in the 90s?
The original one.
Yeah, the original one. It was that kind of like, it looked like that kind of video quality. It didn't look great.
They used the same tech as the Mandalorian.
Well, that's what she said, wasn't it? So that they're actually reacting to things that they can see instead of it all being green screen.
We didn't know it now. The growth in quality is very different.
It didn't look. It looked weird, but we don't know yet. It's early stage. When is it coming out?
But,
sorry, James. What did you say?
2022.
Ah.
Yeah.
James, what are you going to say before I interrupted you?
I'm just going to say something that wasn't very nice about the game.
It's hard,
Yeah,
that stuff. It's hard,
If
that
the
stuff.
server doesn't work, it'll be a shame. If it works, it'll be a fantastic game.
Yeah. It's so hard, story mode stuff, because, we've had this with sports stuff before. You put your own self into that more than anything else. You are that driver, or you are that footballer, aren't you? Or you are that thing. So when something else gets imposed on it on a sports game, it's quite tricky, I think, isn't it? Sometimes.
Yeah.
That makes sense?
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to take your word for it about sports games, because I tend to stay away from them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can see where you're coming from.
Yeah. But we'll see. Is it all consoles? Probably is.
Ooh,
Didn't say.
I don't know.
No.
No,
Could be next gen.
I mean, hopefully it's all next gen.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Good. Grid Legends. Apex Legends. Why have I put Apex Legends in? Who's a big fan of this?
You.
No, I'm not. I don't know what this is. Paul, have you played this? You played this?
I played it briefly.
Yeah.
And then realised that it was another sort of battle royale game-ish by another name, and went, nah, don't really like this. So yeah, I think I played it when it first came out, the very, very sort of first week. I played it 2 or 3 times and then thought, this is rubbish, and I haven't played it since.
Right.
So yes, you might be asking the wrong person.
Well, I don't think any of us know, really. We've all played it once. But I think there's a new season, isn't there? And a new character?
A new season and a new bloke, who's got little micro drones or something. So
people are very, very excited about that.
Yeah. It's called Sia, the character.
Good.
And it launched on the 3rd of August.
Oh.
If that helps.
That's very good, James. Thank you.
That's my knowledge.
Good.
Well done.
Lost in Random, which is a game we know about because we saw it last summer, or saw it this summer, and it's one of their indie games, kind of new franchise, and it's coming out in September, isn't it? September the 10th, maybe.
Yep.
Yes.
And it's kind of in a surreal, almost like Tim Burton-y world. Is that fair enough to say? You're this character walking around with a big dice on your back. That
Come on now. Say its name. It's Dicey.
It is Dicey.
Dicey can sort of like go off on its own. It does all the things. And is it a mixture of a platformer and like a card game? Obviously, a battle card game. Is that right?
No, I didn't see any in the trailer. I didn't see any kind of. I don't remember seeing anything about cards. The only thing that changed it was at certain points you can roll dicey, and depending on what number comes up, you get like a different attack or something, don't you?
Right, that's what I was getting to. That's why I was thinking it's in the cards.
I think that's the thing. Yeah, I don't think there were actual cards. I think it was just down to rolling the dice and something happened.
There is cards.
Oh, maybe I was wrong then.
You buy them. You buy the cards with the currency in the game, and then when dicey charges up, you can use your cards to do different abilities.
Okay.
So the more you collect, the more abilities you've got, basically.
Right.
To give you a bit addictive.
Yeah.
Hey,
look, I like the look of this. This is good.
Mm-hmm.
Got my attention.
It's very Zonk, and Zonk, I think, did Flipping Death and Stick It to the Man. And you're always guaranteed that the characters are going to have personality. And they're always really interesting characters.
Yeah.
So I think it's definitely got going for it.
Yeah.
But, I like it.
I liked it. It surprised me this time around. The first time I saw it, it was okay. It's fun. But this time I was like, oh, this is interesting. So, September. We haven't got long to wait. A month or so. We'll play that.
Excellent.
The other thing, the last one is Knockout City, which I didn't know was still going. Season 2. Is this the dodgeball one?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that was all right, wasn't it? We played that, didn't we, James?
Yeah, we had fun for that.
Yeah.
10 minutes.
Yeah, I can see that's quite popular, Paul, have you played it, Paul?
I haven't. No, I've somehow managed to resist playing a game involving a ball. I mean,
well, this leads us on.
I don't know how.
This leads us on so Paul can have a little break and just ask us questions if you want.
Have a drink, put my feet up.
So, there's gonna be some FIFA 22. There's been a half an hour video with the developers. Been some extra information. We're just going to talk about it quick. Me and James are for our sins big FIFA fans. We play it every year.
I wouldn't say a fan.
We have a club.
I'm just tied down to it now.
It's like a job, isn't it?
It
is. Oh God. So let's talk it through really briefly. What's new this year? What's the big thing they're talking about? And this is now before we start, we're going to talk about this. What's it called? Full motion control, is it, or something like that?
It depends what you mean.
The 11 versus 11.
Do you mean the high motion technology?
That's the one I'm after. Yeah.
You're near there.
So this is for next gen only, not for Xbox One or things. So what they've done basically is put, instead of like normally when they do all the football moves and they do things, they normally put a motion capture suit on maybe 3 footballers, and then they would get them to do tricks, they get them to do dives, they get them to defend. But this time they put motion capture equipment on 2 teams of 11 in Spain and got them to play a game, and they got their data from them. So what they talked about quite a lot was you're getting a full picture of like what the players do, all of them on the pitch. So down to much more kind of animations. I think they said 3,000 more animations, didn't they, or something. So you're seeing defenders, you're seeing people reacting off the ball. So people are pointing, or people are like saying pass here, or people are making different runs. So that's their big new feature. Is that right, James?
Yeah, animations was a word that they used a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it is all about animations. And to be fair, the only thing I noticed from that part was when they were looking over the shoulder, like when the ball was coming to them. And the shape and the body posture of the shoulders and the neck, and it really doesn't seem that much different. There's a couple more little touches.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think they hyped it up a bit more than it needs to be. It'd be good, but
yeah.
I mean, how many animations you get for one match? I don't know. Because, I mean, every player is different. Did he have one guy that was 7 foot tall and one that was 5 foot? Just to get different animations? You know, it's hard to get everything in one go. But
yeah,
they seem to put a lot of onus on that single thing, which is worrying.
Well, the weirdest thing is, isn't it? Like, I think the first time you play, it's like every time you play a new FIFA, you play the first couple of games and you go, oh my God, that's different. You can see all the things that are different, can't you? Oh, that animation's different. And with this, we look at it and go, oh yeah, I can see the whole team. And then 3 games later, all you're doing is following the ball.
Yeah.
So you don't watch
always
where anything else is. But what was kind of interesting, I think, on this, they talked about kind of tactics a little bit, and about they looked at defenders and the way the defense is and they talked about the way football is at the moment, where it's all about quite tight formations and people keeping their shape, and they had that a little bit more. It seemed a bit more of a focus on that as well, on the defending, and about people keeping a backline of 4.
Yeah, it's more zonal marking.
Yeah.
So the whole defensive back 4 or 5 will move as one across to like the left side or the right side, which can leave gaps at the other side to exploit.
Yeah.
As opposed to now, where we notice on clubs, if 3 attackers run your defence just runs everywhere.
Yeah.
And follow the man instead of marking the position. So it was better, I think, defensively.
Yeah.
I think it was more sensible.
And I think they, and not necessarily in the video we saw, but I think they've been talking about it before. It's not FIFA at the moment. It's all been about speed. It's about, you'll get the fastest players, and you can just, so when people go into Ultimate Team, instead of buying, they just literally buy the fastest players. That's what you go for. And the faster your player, you're going to win. So they're obviously a lot more money. I think they're trying to balance that a little bit more. So it's, speed isn't such a big massive thing.
they kind of mentioned that with the explosive sprinting.
Yeah.
Saying that you could press it and do a little bit of a burst past the defender, but you can't keep doing it.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a cooldown to it.
Yeah.
Which is good.
Yeah, which is
can't
great.
be overused.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, I mean, not
Definitely.
knowing anything about football, and I've literally watched England in the Euros and stuff. I have to ask: is there going to be a button for falling over and trying to get a free kick?
Oh, I wish there was. There was
somebody looks at you.
There was a game, Paul, and I can't remember. It was on the PS2, right? And it's a football game.
Red card soccer.
Was it that? Was that what it was?
Or was it This Is Football?
Could be This Is Football. And you had a dive button. And you'd have to, and I loved it. And what you could do is you use it, but if you use it and they catch you, you get sent off. So you have to be really careful. And it was the best bit of thing ever, because you're like, if you thought you were in trouble the last minute, you will use it. You'll dive. It was great. When you got a penalty, it was the best thing in the world. And so I wish that was there, but EA won't do it, will they? Ever.
Even worse than that now, you could do 2-footed tackles. Why is it ever a good idea in football?
That's right. Yeah, you could. Absolutely. Yeah, but FIFA and EA won't ever go near that because it's not the spirit of the game and all that stuff.
Yeah,
everyone does it. It's a shame, though. I think it'd be great. It'd be great.
So, if you're playing as Italy, do you get a chance to? Is there a button to drag players down to the ground by propping them with their own jerseys?
I hope so.
I think you should do something when you're on the ground. You just do how long you can roll about for a bit for in pain. That'd be brilliant. Just to waste some time.
If it's like a quick time event, that'd be awesome.
It'd be brilliant.
The referee believes your leg is broken, so now you've got a penalty.
Yeah. Oh dear. Yeah, no, absolutely. I've always said when we play clubs, Paul, so we play in a team. I always think it would be great if you commit a foul, you get a red card in your club game, you can't play the next game. I always think it's a really good thing, but it never happens. That's a bit more value.
Such a blessing for us.
Yeah. Generally, the other stuff in there is kind of all around that. It's tweaks rather than anything major, isn't it? Is that fair to say, James?
I think, it's more like how players battle in the air and how the first touch is different this time with touch after chest onto the knee and then take it under control. Just little things.
Yeah.
And player humanization, I think was one thing they said. Which I don't know why anyone would notice that mid-game. Like a player getting annoyed. And not getting the ball.
Yeah.
It's mainly about animations.
Yeah.
Apart from tactical defending.
We don't know anything about they didn't really talk about modes, did they, in this one? I think we'll probably get another thing down probably in August or something about that.
Yeah, I mean, we're very vague on anything apart from gameplay, weren't we?
Yeah, so I think
it was a gameplay reveal.
I think they did it last time like that, didn't they? They did a bit on Ultimate Team, then they did something on Career, and then they sort of said we've got clubs as well. So we'll probably get that.
One last thing, just quickly.
Yeah.
I think it says a lot about the FIFA series that those that were doing the segment or the showcase, they've been with EA for so many years. Sometimes it might need a bit of fresh eyes on the game.
Yeah.
And I think you can tell that those guys have done it for so long. You can see where it's got a little bit stale. Nothing against the guys that are doing the jobs, because it is still a great game. But you can kind of see why it does feel very samey almost every year.
It'd be great for them to take a break for a year. Amazing if they did that. You two don't. James doesn't listen to podcasts. Sometimes you, James, you probably won't listen to the fact. But at the beginning, I had a fact at the beginning, which is about EA. Last year, they made 1.6 billion from game sales, and 29% of that is from their Ultimate Team modes on FIFA and Madden. Yeah.
And that's where it's always their focus.
Yeah, that's £770 million.
There's no money in
Or dollars, sorry.
clubs
Yeah.
at all.
It's a mad amount of money, isn't it? It's a mad amount. Let's just, sorry, Paul, we've got one more bit to do, and
That's all right. Just give me a nudge when you've finished.
The next bit is PES. It's Konami's PES, which is now called eFootball. They released a trailer with Messi in, who looked a bit bored, and they're going free to play, and they've got a new engine. Is it next gen only, or is it the other ones as well?
No, it's everything.
It's free to play, but the idea is that what you get for your free to play, you'll get to have 9 teams to play with, and you can play online with. The idea is they're going to try to do cross-platform, cross with PC, cross with mobile, the games, everything. Yeah. You can play all against each other eventually, and they've got a progression, haven't they? Like a season progression when they're going to introduce stuff. So I guess from this, you'll get your free to play, your basic thing, and maybe will you pay for DLC, like extra teams or extra modes? Because there isn't any Master League mode, or there isn't any things like that, is there? I think
they've already said that you're going to pay for Master League, which, to be fair, anyone that plays eFootball or PES, that is their bread and butter, Master League.
Yeah.
So, depending on how well they price that could sell pretty well.
But that's not in their little plan, was it? Yet that isn't when it releases.
They've announced none of the DLC. No, not anything time-wise.
Right.
Which is again a little bit concerning. They don't know when they're going to have their modes. It's like, here's some teams. What can we do with them? I don't know.
I mean, they released a beta, didn't they? Called a football game. I remember this. It came out about a month ago. This says,
and I think,
it's a mess. I think, but the whole point is they're just trying to test the online capabilities of it.
I think they were going to try something completely reworked from the ground up, and then after that they thought, let's just keep it as PES. Rebrand it, keep the same ideas, and we'll just put it as free. Let's see if anyone buys it, as in DLC. Yeah. I am worried for eFootball. One, because it's a terrible name. I think it won't survive day one, because day one people play it online and go, wow, these servers are terrible. And they've got nothing else to do in the game.
Yeah.
They're not having the end of it.
Yeah.
I think it's a terrible decision. And I hope they're listening.
I've heard that they do. Yeah, they look to see what TheXboxHub.com reckons about their games before they make any decisions.
I mean,
especially that James.
We had a friend of ours said this, he said, which I think is a good point. He just went, they had to do something, and he's right in a sense. They were losing the battle quite a lot. It wasn't selling very well. FIFA was taken over completely. We used to be, so they had to. I mean, this is them trying something, isn't it?
Well, it took them nearly 10 years to get anything close to a pro clubs kind of mode.
Yeah.
And they still haven't got decent servers.
No, that's the problem.
That's the thing that's harmed them since PES 2008.
Yeah.
And it can't be that difficult, because a lot of games have decent servers.
Yeah.
And this is Konami. They've got money.
Yeah.
Or did have.
Yeah.
Maybe not anymore. But it did have a lot of money. So it's like, it's their own making.
Yeah.
Good luck to them with the free-to-play nonsense.
Good. Thank you, James. Right, we're out of football mode.
Getting on the fence, James.
Yeah. We're getting out of football now.
Hooray!
We're going to go... There's not much news at the moment. Not many things. What's interesting, I think these two, is the reason I'm saying this is linking us to Pez. Ubisoft's Tom Clancy mashup game. Do you remember this? Elite Squad. That's finishing after a year. That's going October the 4th.
No.
The servers will be shut down. The reason I'm saying this is because it's another free-to-play multiplayer that hasn't worked. That's gone. By the way, even with eFootball going on the thing, I do get worried about everyone kind of going, okay, we need, we've talked about this before. We've got to make the next Fortnite. We've got to make the next, that's our bread and butter.
Mm-hmm.
And they do it, and I feel like going to all these people, just do something else. Use all your resources on something else. Why just let Fortnite do its Fortnite thing? Do you think it's a bit mad that we're starting to get all these kind of like, we saw when we saw the E3, we had a load of those games that are coming out again, these sort of free-to-play multiplayer shooters. I don't think this is the future. I don't think it is what people want to do. Is it? Maybe I'm older. This is what it is. Maybe the kids want to play free-to-play multiplayer shooters.
That's it, depends on the demographic. Depends who their target market is. If it's a kids game and it's free to play, like Fortnite, you're a winner. I'm not sure Tom Clancy's Elite Squad with teams of killing machines is going to be that geared up for the kids. And that's probably why it didn't take off. But you could have seen that from day one. We saw it at the Ubisoft conference, and I was like, what the hell is this? It won't last, and it didn't. It's worrying that we are heading towards where every company, even Rocket League has done it, and Rocket League was so popular.
Yeah.
And then one minute it went, we're free to play. Why?
Yeah.
People will play. It's a great game.
Yeah.
People will pay for it.
Yeah.
It is weird. I mean, there's big names doing it as well. Destiny 2 is now free to play.
Yeah.
Which is, of all the things that you think Bungie would do with Destiny 2, making it free to play wasn't one of the things.
Yeah.
But I suppose then, they sell each season. I know that when my son turned 10, he started playing Destiny 2, and he loves it so much. He saves his pocket money up, so every time there's a new season, he buys the season pass. So, I suppose instead of making one big sale of the game, you make smaller sales of the seasons, and over time it adds up. So, for certain games, clearly the model works, like Fortnite, like Destiny 2. But I mean, it's odd games.
It's got to hit the money. It's got to hit it. It's got to hit the ground running, isn't it? That's the problem with it, because it just dies.
Yeah,
I know every game's got that.
Something. I mean, this Elite Squad, personally, I'd never heard of it. So obviously the marketing is working well, and that's kind of odd because I'm a big fan of the Division and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's a very difficult market to break into, I think, and have some success. It's like you say, though, everybody wants the new Fortnite because you look at the money that makes. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely.
You gotta have that idea that grabs people and it gets them to stick with it for a little bit, and just long enough for you to make some DLC and go, oh, did you enjoy that? Have some more.
Yeah. But also, the Fortnite thing was a complete accident, wasn't it? Wasn't the Fortnite game something else, and the Battle Royale mode was a free-to-play. Yeah. So it wasn't anything planned. That's what was so good about it.
Way back in the day, I did the preview of Fortnite when it first came out, and it was called Fortnite Save the World, and you had to build things and save the world from this kind of storm that was happening and kill sort of AI baddies and stuff, and then it kind of turned into the Battle Royale, and then it took over the world. So, but I mean, there's hundreds of these games. There's like Dauntless is one. There's Paladins is another. Both of those from Microsoft on the Xbox. And, they're good fun. You play them for a bit, and then it just gets all a bit samey, and you stop playing. And because it's free to play, you've not lost anything. So, maybe I'm just cynical and think, if you don't pay for out, you're not going to worry about stop playing it, are you? So
I do feel sorry for these developers. There are certain ones. Like, remember the EA game, the Rocket one? Was just I reviewed it, I think, Rocket Arena. I mean, I think that's probably died a death now, isn't it? I think it's.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine so. Yeah, I've not heard.
You sort of you remember the developers being interviewed last year at EA Play going, we're really excited about this. This is great. We've worked 3 years on this, and you're going, my God.
Didn't they only market it for like a month?
Yeah.
It was hardly marketed. It came out, and then there was nothing really.
Yeah.
Whereas, although we don't play it, Knockout City did have quite a bit of marketing afterwards.
Yeah, it did.
They still get it now.
Yeah.
I think it's doing quite well.
Yeah.
From what I've read. So.
Oh, good. Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
It can work.
It can work. Very rarely. Netflix are going to add games to their service. Eventually. I think it's just going to be mobile games, first of all, I think, is that?
Yeah.
What do you think about this as a whole thing of just having, you've got your Netflix subscription and eventually you'll have your games in that as well? You can... Sorry, Paul.
Yeah, so I was just going to say, I remember, because I'm usually up early in the morning, so I was watching the business news on BBC, and they were saying Netflix are having to do this because their projected new sign-ups is going to be so much lower than they thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
So they're having to look at other things. I mean, I think it's a bit of desperation, if I'm honest, especially because they're not going to charge any extra for it. So you can't imagine that the games that are going to be available are going to be sort of top draw. They're going to be rubbish mobile games or, Tetris or something. But, if it's free and it's there, then it might bring a few extra people in. But I don't think it's the answer, to be honest.
Well, now, you might not know this, you two, but Amazon have got their new MMO Brave World or New World or something, New World, I think, that's going to come out this December. And
New World.
New World. Yeah. And that's in beta at the moment. And it's getting some really good... People are loving it. The MMO fans have really loved it. So, that's Amazon's first big game, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Is that going? Do you get that with a subscription, or do you reckon they're going to just sell that? That's what I need to probably to find this out rather than asking you two. Would that be part of that under their, I don't know, Amazon Prime? Or is it something you buy? I'll find out for next time. Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, it would be obviously it's not their first big game because don't forget they did do the Grand Tour game as well.
Yes,
it was very good back in the day. But yeah, I mean, again, it's another case of, if it's going to be an extra charge or if it's going to be included, and is there a market there for an MMO at the minute? Hasn't like Final Fantasy 14 and everything else got that sewn up? So,
but I suppose
is there room for one?
I suppose it's not going to happen, right? But say this was Netflix to go, okay, Netflix next year they go. Netflix, so with your subscription now for Netflix, you're going to get this, and you've got the new... I'm not going to say Grand Theft Auto, because that would never... But you're going to get the new Destiny 3. Is going to be... You'll get that to play as well.
Okay.
That's a big thing, if they did something like that. And a big kind of AAA game attached to them. That you could... That becomes part of that subscription. That would probably, if people were looking at that, would go, actually, if I just get the subscription with Netflix, that's going to cover I'd get a game for that as well. So that would make people do it, I think. Maybe people would get subscription.
I can't see that, who are they going to get the developers to say, yeah, okay, we'll let you give our game away for free? I mean... But I mean, if they gave a developer a load of money to do it, like they would do a film, or they've put in $120 million into a film. I think probably Destiny 3 or Grand Theft Auto aren't the ones that we should be looking at. It should be something along the lines of, I don't know, an AA game. Yeah. I mean, there's potential there. I mean, it'd be interesting. I mean, how would you play this game if they're giving away mobile games? I presume you'd have to have Netflix on your phone, say.
Yeah. Or do they just give you a code?
Or do they give you a code to download it? Or, but if they give you a code to download it, what if you then stop being a subscriber? How would they then control?
Yeah, taking it off.
Meaning that you can't get into the game anymore, because with a code, it's forever, isn't it?
Yeah,
so
true.
There's a lot of...
Thank God we're not having to work this out, Paul.
I'm glad I don't work for Netflix, let's put it that way.
James, what do you think? Would you like your subscription all in one?
Sorry, I zoned out.
Cheers. He's brutal, isn't he?
Just so you know, New World is not going to be part of Amazon Prime or anything.
No, forget
You've got to pay separately for it.
Forget it.
It's £35.
What, a month?
No, one-off. One-time payment.
I'd just say, it better be good at £35 a month.
I think Netflix could do with... I haven't played them. You know, they did the Stranger Things game.
Oh, yeah.
Xbox.
Yeah.
They're better focused on developing games for all consoles, like doing that, or giving away their, like you say, their licensing to different companies, and maybe letting Netflix members get a discount on buying them or something. Because it doesn't work adding proper games to a £10 a month subscription. It doesn't make money sense. But at least if they give members a discount, it's a little perk, and it gets them to get interested in the games on different platforms and stuff. Because mobile gaming, I mean, I'm not interested. I presume it won't be that high quality.
But I suppose I think my argument is, I suppose what they're doing is they're looking at Microsoft and they're going, okay, Microsoft have got a subscription service with Game Pass, and I know that's what they do and that's their thing, but that's a highly profitable thing for Microsoft, and they're looking at it they're looking at it and going, how do we get into that? How do we get? How do we do that? How do we get that? Because they're probably looking at the numbers for Xbox Game Pass and go, actually, they're getting all these subscribers.
Yeah, I think if you don't up the subscription charge, it won't be beneficial, because they can't put that much investment in the games. Because already you get a lot of content on Netflix for your subscription, and we end up seeing less TV series and film content, and you end up getting more terrible games.
Right? Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. I do.
I like the idea, because I like Netflix doing more, because I've got a subscription, so it's happy days. Yeah. I won't play mobile games.
No.
So just make it worthwhile.
I think it's probably something. I mean, the interesting thing about Netflix and the whole subscription service is that I remember there was an interview with the House of Cards people. I think Fincher, and they met with Netflix and they said, "Look, we want to give you some money. We want you to make your own program." And they were like, "Well, how would this work?" And they go, "Well, what people do is they just they just can watch all the episodes at once." And they said, "Well, hold on, so it won't go to a TV thing?" And they were going, "No, just be all of it." And they were like, "I just don't get that at all." And they went, "Well, we'll give you 140 million." And they went, "Okay, fine."
I get it now.
Yeah. But
that's the magic number.
What their interview was also saying is like, it's just like they had a vision. Then they said about what it's going to be, and they said, "Well, eventually, that's all we want to do is make our own content. So it's all ours, and that's how we, And that was only 6-7 years ago. It's kind of interesting. I think it's just interesting going forward, because I was saying at the moment, I've got Netflix, I've got Amazon, I've got Disney, I've got something else, Now TV, and I've got Apple TV that's on a free for a year. Yeah, and you're looking at, we talked about this before, it's this whole thing of just your subscriptions. And then you look at Game Pass, Then you look at your sort of PlayStation yearly thing, and it's like it's kind of amazing going forward, isn't it? Going, when are there's going to be a point when you sort of like join up? Like I know with you, James, you just had your Sky subscription, and you've got Netflix for free in that, haven't you?
Yeah, it links up with it.
So will there be starting to be something like? Would you ever see sort of Netflix and Microsoft join up? You know, would that be a thing?
Well, it wouldn't be the strangest idea. And eventually, though, I know a lot of these companies make their own content, but there's only enough content. There's only so much content to go around. And if you keep seeing more, like HBO have got their own, Warner Brothers, you know, that's under HBO and that. And it's like, if you have that many subscription services, a lot of them are getting like, well, I want one thing on that one and one thing on that one, but nothing else, so I won't bother. So they might see people not signing up anymore because there's too many options.
Mm-hmm.
There's something else to give.
The thing that annoys me is when they move things around. So, like, I absolutely love Lucifer. That is just fantastic. And, like, if I want to watch all of it, I think it's the first 3 seasons on Amazon Prime, and then the last 2 seasons are on Netflix.
Yeah.
So, you know, when I want to rewatch the series, which I quite often do because I think the guy who plays Lucifer, Tom something, can't remember his name, he's absolutely fantastic. But yeah, I've got to watch it on 2 things, so I need 2 subscriptions to watch it. And that made me sad. Yeah. So, because obviously it's all about me anyway.
No, it's exactly. Yeah. Now, gentlemen, we're going to talk about the games we've been playing. But we're not going to do that because we've run out of time.
Oh no!
And Paul
could we not cut out all that football stuff?
We could cut. Paul had 6 games to chat about, and
all the games
as well.
James had 2
games.
I had 2 as well. We liked our games this week. Do we enjoy our games? That's what we can say.
Oh yeah. It's been brilliant. Yeah, especially that one.
Yeah. Sorry, James.
Average.
Okay.
Well, we're talking about.
Well, that's good. We're not going to do it this week.
Saved you this one.
We'll keep those, Paul. Next time you're on, you can do those.
I will look. I want to put my name down for show 100.
There you go.
Yeah.
There we go.
Can't wait. You can talk about Mordor.
Yes.
Forward to that.
It's fantastic. It's a brilliant game, mate. Cost me £4 from CEX this week, so I'm playing it again.
What are we looking forward to next week? 23rd to the end of July. James, what you got?
I've got a crazy night on Saturday night because it's wrestling at 2 a.m. And then at 7 a.m. I've got a K-pop concert online.
I'll tell you what, you know how to live.
I know. It's going to be immense. That's my week in one day.
Great. I like it. Paul, what about you?
Well, at the risk of sounding somewhat boring again, it's mainly work next week, but I am going all the way to Glasgow. So I'll be spending most of the week north of the border. So that's always nice.
Oh, nice.
Going up to where people talk funny.
Good. That's very good. I am going to look forward to next week. There's a couple of games out next week. The biggest game next week is Flight Sim. It's coming to Xbox on the 27th, isn't it? On the Game Pass. So I've downloaded it. It's about 100 gig, I think, isn't it? But yeah, so that's coming out. Looking forward to that. And there's another game called Omno, which is coming out on Game Pass next week, which I'll talk about next week because I've been reviewing it. But I'm not saying anything else. But yeah, good. Thank you, gentlemen. You've been brilliant. That was good. That was really good fun. Nice to be back. And if we want to see you, want to talk to you, not see you, because you're not on there. It's not on that format. James, where can we get hold of you?
I'll be on Twitter and Instagram at OKidUKO.
Great. And Paul, what about you?
I'm only on Twitter. I'm not cool enough for Instagram. And that's at TheXboxHub Paul.
Great. And you can find me at GB Briley on all sorts of things, Twitter and Twitch and something else, and Instagram. But for now, we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the official podcast of TheXboxHub.com. You'll be able to find all the notes of this show at www.thexboxhub.com/podcast. You can also check out our social feeds on Instagram and Twitter at The Xbox Hub, and search The Xbox Hub on Facebook.